Welcome to this explainer. Let's jump right into it. Have you ever been scrolling through a comment section, maybe under a totally innocent post, and suddenly you see someone get utterly dismantled in just 2 or 3 words? It's this chillingly polite yet devastatingly effective style of internet insult. We've all seen these razor-sharp takedowns, right? They don't rely on screaming, they don't rely on swearing. Instead, they just completely unravel a person's reality with terrifying precision. Today, we're objectively deconstructing the mechanics behind this hyper-modern form of communication.
Okay, here is our roadmap. We're going to hit 5 key areas today: origins of online derision, targets of the attack, the 4 escalating levels of aggression, the rhetorical tools trolls use, and finally, what they intentionally avoid.
Let's start right off with Section 1, the origins of online derision. So these punchy slogan-style attacks, they didn't just appear out of thin air. They evolved directly from a potent mix of very specific internet subcultures. The foundational pillars start with the edgy meme and roast culture of early message boards. Add to that the extreme online fatalism and deep-seated grievances found in incel and black pill ideologies. Then factor in a reactionist, anti-woke backlash specifically targeting safe spaces and trigger warnings. Mix all that up with a reliance on pure shock value and this pervasive general internet cynicism, the idea that everything is meaningless anyway, and you get this incredibly dark brew. As a pure matter of record, this language format is perfectly designed to be brutally honest, remarkably short, and highly impactful to the widest possible audience.
Moving right along to Section 2, targets of the attack. Rather than just blindly swinging in the dark, human beings have spent thousands of years refining the art of attacking behavior, competence, and ideas. But online, this derision has become incredibly clinical. They aim for very specific psychological pressure points. When someone drops a phrase like "think harder" or "try reading," they are directly targeting perceived intelligence. Imagine pouring your heart into a complex point, only to be hit with "skill issue" or "amateur energy." Bam! It completely invalidates your competence. Or think about attacks on ego. Responses like "less ego, more evidence." They're literally stripping away the target's defenses by attacking the very core of how they view themselves. It's an incredibly efficient, highly calculated surgical dismantling of confidence.
Next up is Section 3, the 4 levels of aggression.
Because, you see, online derision isn't just a random throwing of darts. It operates on a strict, escalating 4-point scale. We go from mild to savage, to brutal, and finally to personal. Think of it like a psychological escalation. A disagreement might start at level 1, just testing the waters, but as tensions rise, it can systematically devolve all the way down to level 4. Let's see exactly how this sounds in the wild.
Level 1 is mild. Think of phrases like "nice try" or "stay curious." Imagine a disagreement in a comment section over a movie review. Someone disagrees with your take and drops a "nice try." It stings a little, sure, but it's acceptable in almost any casual banter. It leaves the door open. Just a gentle nudge of superiority without burning the bridge entirely.
Then we step up to level 2, savage. This is the absolute bread and butter of modern internet roast humor. The ultimate example right now? Skill issue. This actually originated in gaming culture, where a player's genuine complaint about game mechanics would be ruthlessly dismissed by blaming their inherent abilities instead. It's punchy, it's omnipresent, and it beautifully, yet ruthlessly, targets someone's performance. And honestly, it's almost always designed to get a laugh from onlookers rather than genuinely engage with the original complaint. But then we cross a very distinct line into level 3, brutal. This is where things get substantially darker. Phrases like, "you're your own problem," or "nobody believes that." Instead of just mocking a mistake, they directly and brutally attack a target's self-image. I mean, imagine how isolating it feels to read "nobody believes that" after sharing a personal experience. It suggests a fundamental, deep-seated flaw in your approach to reality itself. Which brings us to the final stage, level 4, personal. Phrases like "you're exhausting," "zero self-awareness," or "permanently average." At this level, we completely stop criticizing actions or opinions. The target's perceived character is just utterly dismantled. There's no humor, no meme culture, no banter left. It is a clinical, unvarnished character assassination that acts like a digital brick wall, completely shutting down the conversation and leaving the target with absolutely nowhere to go.
All right, slowing down from that barrage, let's move to Section 4, the rhetorical tools of trolls.
First up is irony. A textbook example is, "Congratulations, you tried." There's this unwritten rule on the internet that whoever cares less wins, right?
By ironically belittling the target's effort, the attacker sounds utterly detached and intellectually superior. Detachment is absolute power online. Irony acts as the ultimate defensive armor, letting the attacker inflict significant emotional damage without ever looking like they care enough to be genuinely angry. Then we have hyperbole. Have you ever messed up a minor task, something incredibly trivial, and someone told you, "Better luck next lifetime"? It instantly trivializes everything you just did. Instead of just saying you failed this one specific time, hyperbole stretches that failure to a cosmic scale. It zooms out so far that the individual's current effort and sometimes their entire existence feels entirely meaningless. And this leads perfectly into contrast. Phrases like "loud isn't right" or "confidence isn't competence." Contrast is a highly effective tool because it strips away the target's volume or bluster and exposes a perceived lack of actual substance underneath. It's fascinating because it completely flips the script on traditional bullying. The aggressor is no longer the loud, angry bully. Instead, they frame themselves as the objective, quiet, and detached voice of absolute reason.
Which brings us to our final section, what trolls intentionally avoid.
Now, the architects of these modern insults are incredibly calculated. While they heavily target traits like ego, competence, and social standing, they intentionally avoid slurs, attacks on protected characteristics like race or religion, threats of violence, and explicit profanity. Why? Because it is a highly strategic, legal, and platform safety maneuver. By entirely avoiding hate speech, they completely sidestep getting banned by social media moderation algorithms. The absolute devastation lies entirely in this juxtaposition, systematically destroying a person's confidence while remaining perfectly compliant with the terms of service. This brings us to a huge takeaway for today. The sharpest insults often don't need a single swear word. And why does this matter for much? Because these insults seamlessly bypass content moderation filters. They spread unchecked. This normalizes a hyperclinical style of cruelty across all of our digital communication. Because they don't rely on discriminatory language, the target can't just brush them off as the irrational ranting of a bigot. The attacks are surgically clean, they appear totally objective, and therefore, they're catastrophically damaging to the receiver's confidence. So, if the most devastating internet attacks no longer require a single bad word to absolutely ruin someone's day, how is our online communication going to continue to evolve? And more importantly, how will you protect your own mental energy the next time you encounter one of these surgical level 4 attacks in your own digital life? I'll leave you with that final thought to ponder. Thank you for joining me on this explainer as we dove deep into the architecture of modern internet derision.